Greetings, ones and ones. Here again to share my proceeds of healing. And today I'm sharing the process of schizophrenia that I've gone through and that I am going through. The process revealed to me how much I had been lying to myself. I look at the process of schizophrenia in simpler terminologies than the medical field would offer it. I look at it as a situation where a human, a person, has told themselves so many lies that they break. So we are wholesome, healthy beings. However, whenever we tell a lie, we cause a fracture. Whenever we allow the ego to be in an unhealthy manner, we cause a fracture. We cause a fracture. Yes. The instructions creates the roadmap. And let me offer a better explanation, or let me go forward to a better explanation. The ego operating in an unhealthy manner seeks to protect us. This is the lesser ego. It seeks to protect us. Protecting us means that it's received instructions to protect us, because the ego protects. The ego is the door, as the intuition, or the misappropriated intuition actually, or we could say the misappropriated feminine, which is the bad instructions, or the lack of memory, or the resistance. There are many different ways to say it. So, for clarity, when I refer to the lesser ego or the ego, I'm talking about that which does within the human being. It's that which carries out the action. It's that which is the creative. And the intuition, or the misappropriated intuition, the intuition is the one that gives the instructions. So that's the feminine. When you have rejection, when you have resistance, when you have a density, when you have misappropriations, then that intuition is misappropriated. Those instructions are misappropriated. Those instructions are incorrect. Those instructions or those desires are incorrect. So when I say the misappropriated intuition, the misappropriated feminine, the one giving you the bad instructions, the dirty girl, where I tell it the man what to do. Me being a man, I have a dirty girl inside of me, where I tell my masculine, my ego, what to do. And my masculine carry it out, because my masculine choose to carry it out. Anyways, that a little Jamaican vibe, Pata vibe. So going forward to the more linguistically appropriate in terms of the collective consciousness, who clearly don't want to hear it based on the noise that we just encounter on the street, on the pathways, saying that in the process of schizophrenia, what happens is that a person actually breaks. This break is a result of many factors, many factors. And those many factors are fractures. So a person, okay, let me retract and go forward to factors, many factors. What are the many factors? The many factors are the contract. So now let me offer this narrative of why it is that we as humans are here. As humans, we are here to have an experience. In having that experience, we, being humans, have to humble ourselves to the cosmic nature of our origin. And that cosmic nature of our origin is in alignment with the source, divine source. In being in alignment with divine source, there is no separation. There's only oneness. In that oneness, we have the memory that shows us what it is that we decided to do when we decided to do what we decided to do. So we decided to have this experience here on earth in the form of soul contracts. In my case, my soul contract stipulated that whenever I get to the point that I've told myself enough lies, then I'm going to have a schizophrenic break. That is my soul contract exposure to everyone. Whenever I get to the point where I've told myself enough lies, according to certain specificities, then I'm going to break and have what medically they term schizophrenia. And I'll share this with you also, that this process has always been this process. Meaning the process of telling yourself lies, which in the collective consciousness, the Bible refers to it as sin. And when I say Bible, many understand it to be the Bible. The Bible references lies as sins. What sins are is forgetfulness. You have a lack of memory. In having that lack of memory, you do that which you defaulted into doing, which is to not have that memory. So you go in a state of default. And this is all a part of the contract, the soul contract that we come here to exhibit. We come here to experience. In my case, I've for 38 years told myself a whole lot of lies, and those lies caused my schizophrenic break. So those lies are the factors that cause the fractures, and the instructions of the lie, which I planned in source, is the roadmap that the fractures occur according to the factors that I face in life. And it's similar with other diseases, such as bipolar. Narcissism is the same thing. It's the same process. It's the same process with different roadmaps. The same process with different instructions on how to give the human that experience. So the how is the uniqueness, and the execution is the appearance of the uniqueness. Because before appearance, before light, there's instructions. And we term that light, we tend to say that is darkness. That's another topic. So, having the schizophrenic experience, one of the process in having my schizophrenic experience is I would hear voices. I would hear many voices. And in truth, I've been exposed to countless number of voices, and I know I have the ability to communicate with all the voices of humans on earth, because being that we're all divine source, we all have that connection, and it is per our soul contract that we it is per our soul contract that we communicate with the ones who we have chosen to communicate per divine source, which is all of us, per her fertility, which we've already, in being her, defined as our destiny. So I have certain connections with certain people, and I'm saying certain for a certain reason, because it's a certain thing. With soul memory, with soul incarnation, with soul integration, you become affiliated with that which you've always been a family with. So in this process of schizophrenia, I had exposure to many voices. Now these voices are all my voices, as your voice is your voice. In the process of the soul contract, within certain aspects, I can hear you speak, even though you haven't spoken physically. And people refer to this as telepathy. So they say we can communicate telepathically. So that is the perspective of how it is that I hear voices, and how it is that you hear voices, how it is that you hear the different aspects of yourself. Because we have different aspects to us. Where should I go with this now, Spirit? Okay, so I have a choice to speak about the 12 aspects of our being and venture off into the calendar, how it is that we, my partner and I, have developed a calendar which we call a 5D Return to Kemet calendar. Okay, I'm to go there. Okay, so as I'm explaining this to you, as I'm talking with myself, with my being, as I was saying, there's 12 aspects. This is truth. There's 12 aspects to a human being, as there are 12 months of the year, as there are 12 gates, what is commonly referred to as zodiacs. Those 12 gates um, is actually 12 observatories within the human being. You could say those 12 observatories, I am saying that those 12 observatories relate to the seasons. So we say there are typically 4 seasons. You have spring, summer, autumn, winter. I was about to say fall. The Rasta in me said no, don't say fall. However, it is fall. So it's spring, summer, autumn, winter. And those 4 tie into the 12. So we are the seasons as well. However, for this conversation, we are talking about, or I'm sharing with you, the 12 observatories, which is commonly referred to as Aries, Taurus. Okay, no, keep it together. Okay, so I'm going to reference the European, Caucasian, which is the one who is leading the civilization. So most humans on Earth refer to this system, where the zodiac is called Aries. So I'm going to say Aries. I'm going to give the commonly referred to gate reference or zodiac reference, and I'm going to give the what my partner and I has gotten from divine source as the Kemetic gate. So for Aries, there's Asar. For Jeb, there's Jehuti. For Taurus, did I make a? Did I? Okay, for Taurus, there is, okay, let me go forward again. Aries, Asar. I should have brought the calendar. Okay, we have calendars. We can, we share with others. So let me, okay, I may make a mistake, but, and if I do so, I'll correct it in another video. So Aries, Asar, Jeb, Jehuti, Taurus, I'm going to go get the calendar. Okay, here I am again. So this is the calendar. 5D calendar return to Kemet, and we say 2017 is 2025. And we say 2017 is 2025 because we reference the Ethiopian calendar, which is also referencing the Mayan calendar, which according to divine source in me and my partner, the Gregorian calendar has put us forward 8 years. And there's a whole reason as to how we understand it is that they did that, which is for another time. as I was talking about the gates, so and the zodiac. So for Asar, there's Aries. For Jeb, there's Taurus. For Jehuti, there's Gemini. For Cancer, there's Nekbit. For Leo, there's Heru. For Virgo, there's Aset. For Libra, there is Ma'at. For Scorpio, there's Sekhmet. For Sagittarius, there's Bastet. For Capricorn, there's Set. For Aquarius, there's Anubis. For Pisces, there's Nut. So those are the 12 houses, some people call them also. 12 houses, 12 gates, 12 zodiacs, 12 observatories. So I was referencing that to say that within each human being's soul, there are those observatories. You could say there are those windows. So a reference to that is the 12 disciples of Christ. Okay, let me slow down a little bit. I have to digest something within my being. Okay. I'm going to speak about the 12 numerically. The 12 numerically. Okay. So we have 12 in our singularity. We have 12 possibilities. In our singularity, we have 12 possibilities. And those 12 possibilities have manifested humanly recognizable in the 12 houses. Those 12 houses create what we call a mansion. As Rasta, I receive that mansion as a mention. So we have 12 houses that create a mansion. In my Father's house, there are many mansions. Those 12 possibilities, 12 houses, form the 12 mansion. 12 mansion is, phonetically speaking, the 12 mentions. Those 12 mentions are mentioned biblically as the 12 disciples. They're also mentioned in the 12 truths, which my partner is more familiar with those truths. going forward to the 12 mansions. Those 12 mansions forming the mansion tells me that there are 12 observatories, 12 aspects to the brain, as the brain is connected to the heart. However, in this transmission, I'm focusing on the brain. So the duality has the reference of 24 mansions, 24 mentions within the brain. There's left lobe, right lobe. That's the duality. And within that duality, there is a perceivable singularity which causes the human to reference into the Trinity. That Trinity is reorganized. Correction. That Trinity is organized, is ordered through the 3, 6. That Trinity is ordered through 3, 6, 9, and to lead into mentally the infinite process. It goes into adding another 3, which is the 12. So this is the cyclical correction, as Rastamuna likes a cyclical, the cycle. However, it is cyclical and cyclical. The cyclical arrangement 3, 6, 9, 3. That's 12. Those are the 12 disciples. When you honor those mentions in your mansion, you gain the wealth in divine source. The wealth, your abundance in divine source. As a person going through the schizophrenic process, I have certain connections with my 12 mansions, with my 12 mentions. And in so doing, go forward. In so doing, gaining access to a realm of memory that the average human being does not have. In previous videos, I've mentioned that this is my 7th incarnation in this soul imprint. So I have memory access to seven previous lives. as well as I'm having access to this memory in how it is that the soul is ordered per divine source. The mention of divine source, I feel in the collective a resistance as I spoke it. Resistance in the collective, saying that I am going to be perceived as many things, two of which are a crazy person. The other one is someone who thinks they know it all. And to that trauma in the collective consciousness, I am saying that within your psyche, you are correct. Within your understanding in your psyche, you are correct. I am, in your understanding, a crazy person, as well as I am a person who knows it all in divine source, as we all know it all in divine source. This is what it means when we say we are in the age of the knowing. In this Aquarian age, which according to our 5D calendar, we call it the Anubis. In this age of the knowing, collectively speaking, we all agree that we all know divine source. So the soul contracts that are out there all say that we all agree that we know it all in divine source. And we reference Anubis from Kemet because Anubis is the one who puts the flesh into the earth and knows exactly when to remove it from within the earth for it to have an orderly digestion. So, to the ego who is protecting the trauma of ignorance that says that I am crazy, I invite that ego to remember what it is that it is protecting, which is ignorance. Ashe? Ashe. Going forward to the understanding that I was sharing about the schizophrenic process, the 12 disciples, the 12 houses, the 12 gates, the 12 observatories is all within each human, and that is how we can observe it on the outer. That which is on the outer is also on the inner. There is a popular saying, as above, so below. I have recorded in my soul that in another order. It says, as within, so without. As below, so above. The order is important, as order is important. When you don't have order, you have disorder. The understanding to be had regarding the order is that inward is before outward, below is before up, left is before right. These are governed by principalities. So the order says in and then out. As it says in and then out, the arrangement of the year is spring. Spring represents inward because you spring from within. So that is always the representation of beginning. Wherever on the planet that you are experiencing spring, that is your beginning. And I am pausing because I feel the resistance, particularly in the West, where the respect for nature has taken a disorder to the Gregorian calendar, which January is in winter. Now, January being in winter, you see the disorder holding to the truth that spring is inward. As you see January being winter, you see that which is to be behind is leading. When you follow that system, then you are only through the grace of divine source kept in order. Consciously, you will be in disorder, as consciousness relates to physicality. These are the treasures that the process of schizophrenia has revealed, uncovered, unabated in my soul. And I invite those who resonate, those who resound with the truth that I am speaking, to ask yourself inwardly if the words that I'm speaking are true to your soul contract. Ashe. Trauma is the modality. Trauma is the modality that offers the experience. Trauma relates to sin. Trauma is the wound. Trauma is rejection. Trauma is resistance. Trauma is perceived at times to be negative. Trauma is perceived as density. Trauma is perceived as black. Trauma is perceived as absent. All these things are trauma, and we are here to transmute that trauma, to correct that trauma, to dispel that trauma. And when you do this, you have a remembering, meaning that you have a memory, and that memory shows you that you are a member in divine source. And when you remove the trauma, it's recorded as something that you've done again. And I'll go forward to re. That is what re is to be understood as. Re is to be understood as that which has already been done, and now you are correction. Re is something that is to be understood as something that has never been done. And in you doing it, you are uncovering that you have it already done. So when you are remembering, it is a process of uncovering, unveiling. Life is a process of unveiling. Ashe.